I want to give all honor, glory, and praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Akakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for pushing this truth and getting the word out so people like us can learn. It's Jaquab, son of Sid Jr., son of Sid Sr. And I caught this yesterday while I was at work, and you need to hear this. Let me bring out a scripture first. Let me see. Oh, yeah, you could look at the first comment that had me laughing while I pull up this scripture. The book of Psalms, chapter 59, verse 1. Deliver me from my enemies, O my God, whose name is Yahweh. It means he exists. Defend me from them that rise up against me. And pretty much the whole world is against our people as a nation. But even our nation is against those who are seeking after the one true God. It made me think of another precept, Salakia. Verse 2, deliver me from the workers of iniquity and save me from the bloody men. Now, the workers of iniquity is sin on top of sin. And that's pretty much what the government of Babylon the Great pretty much does, is they pass laws, pretty much sin on top of sin. I wouldn't be surprised if they start letting Americans grow white stuff inside their house. They let them grow green stuff inside their house. Might as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they let them tell Poppy to bring poppy seeds over here for people to grow inside their house. This place is just out of control. And these are the most bloodiest men on the planet. The government of Babylon the Great. So the book of Psalms chapter 59 verse 1, deliver me from my enemies, O my God. Defend me from them that rise up against me. Deliver me from the workers of iniquity and save me from bloody men. For lo, they lie in wait for my soul. The mighty are gathered against me. Not for my transgression, nor for my sin, O Lord. They run and prepare themselves without my fault. Awake to help me, and behold. Thou therefore, O Lord God of hosts, the God of Israel, awake to visit all the heathen. Be not merciful to any wicked transgressors. Salah. Okay, so they want our soul. They want our soul. And the conditions are set to where we're going to need Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai to rise up and help us. Let me let you look at this title while I get the other scripture. The book of Psalms, chapter 110. The Lord said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool. So Yahweh Shai, the chief high priest, is sitting on the right hand of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, until I make thine enemies thy footstool. And that's the time we're coming into now, okay? Our enemies are about to be the footstool of Yahweh Shai. The Lord shall send the rod of strength out of Zion. Rule thou in the midst of thine enemies. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning thou hast the dew of thy youth.
Speaker, at this time I would yield 7 minutes to the gentleman from Arkansas, who's the ranking member of the Railroad Subcommittee, Mr. Crawford.
The gentleman is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We are here today because of the colossal failure of Joe Union Biden, the president who has, by his own declaration, been the most union-friendly president in history. Been here.
Now this colossal failure is about to bring upon this. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, verse 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Now, a lot of people read the scriptures and think that nothing's bad is going to happen to them. So let me make this a little more personal and a little more specific. Woe to the world of Americans, the Americanites. Woe to the world of the Hebrew Israelites in America and across the world as well. But let me make this a little more personal. Woe to the world, the East Coast world of America, the West Coast world of America, the dirty South side of America, the Midwest, North side of America, and them that dwell therein. For the sword, which is the gun, pestilences, is all types of swords. Everything Esau uses is a sword. His mouth is a sword. His tongue is a sword. His hand is a sword that pushes the pen. Okay, his brain is a sword that thinks of things. His feet's are swords. If he could fly through the air and kick you, he would. Okay, but his feet run everywhere to shoot up everything. Okay, so his feet's a part of his arsenal of swords too. And their destruction draweth nigh. So the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Whose? The world of America. And one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Oh, you like guns, huh? Autos that jam? Revolvers that just gets people slammed, huh? That's what you like? For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. A lot of people gonna run up in people's houses like everybody's the kingpin and got bars of gold up in there or something. They're gonna be running up in a lot of houses. They shall not regard the kings nor princes. They're not going to care about the governments, the police, none of that. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? For one, you ain't going to have no diesel. Yo, chill, Giggles. Ain't going to have no diesel. For because of their pride, the cities, and there's going to be martial law. Okay. Oh, matter of fact, at my job, they had the highest security because in 30 days, 10 Cadillac converters got stolen. 10 Cadillac converters got stolen from cars in 30 days of my job. At my job. It's about to get bad out here. For because of their pride, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able because Cadillac converter got stolen. You save up all that money, you finesse all these tax scams and all this scheming and saving and going to work to buy this car, and then your Cadillac converter gets stolen. You can't go nowhere. Does insurance cover that? Come on, man. Yahweh Shariah Shai is not to be played with, man. You think you're doing something. You think you're doing something till you wake up one day. You think you're going somewhere in life until you wake up one day. Yahweh Shariah Shai is not to be played with. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Because of the pride of who? The politicians. Because of the politicians' pride. Because of the pride of who? The people that vote for these politicians. And the pride of the people that feel like they don't need to vote for these politicians because they too good. That's how I used to feel. Like, I don't need them. What I gotta vote for? I'm going to make it. You know, you have to focus on these scriptures. Yahweh Shai has to have his mercy above you, with you and around you to make it. And what we about to go through as a nation. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Destroyed. Hurricane Katrina ring a bell? Pick which way the house is going to be destroyed. The people are coming for the food, for the women, and for the children. Sorry to say. Remember that man said, hide your men, hide your women, hide your children. They raping people around here, y'all. They coming. Verse 19, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods. What's the goods in the houses? Ain't worried about TVs, food, ain't worried about money. What's the goods? Food, women, children. Do you not know that children used to serve the people? People, you know how women do. Call you downstairs, hey, go get me that out the fridge. Little stuff like that. Salakia.
Since 1970, Joe Amtrak, Joe Lunchbox, whatever you want to call him, he has punted this to us to deal with his colossal mistake. And I can't wait for the rails to be running and make sure they have plenty of rail cars available to haul off these carloads of bovine residue that's being spread around here today because the president waded into something that he wasn't able to finish. And in the misinformation that's being proliferated here about the sick days, why is there no mention of the actual sick days in the PEB?
The misinformation? You mean to tell me you're the president, you're the president's cabinet, you're the president's team, the dream team, presidency. Every presidency should be a dream team. You could have a USA dream team, but you can't have a presidential dream team. USA dream team every year, but no presidential dream team every year. It's weird. So they're making mistakes. What did he say? How did he say it?
And in the misinformation that's being proliferated here.
Proliferating misinformation. Who does that? The media? Not the presidency. Who proliferates misinformation? Let's all look at proliferation. Proliferate, reduce, grow by multiplication of elementary parts. We ain't going, this ain't class right now. Proliferate, grow rapidly, cause to grow or increase rapidly. So he causes misinformation to grow and increase rapidly. What in the hell is going on out here? Y'all better wake the hell up, Yasha Allah. Somebody ain't gonna make it.
About the sick days. Why is there no...
So everything that Esau's telling Esau is misinformation. What you think he telling Jacob? So basically what he's saying is nobody knows the truth right now. Think about this, y'all.
Mention of the actual sick days in the PEB, the number of sick days that we're adding to. In fact, we came to a resolution, myself and soon-to-be Chairman Graves, that codified the PEB recommendation. The 24% pay raise. 24%. Let's keep in mind that we are in a recession. I'd like for us all to get a 24% raise. But we codified a 24% raise, 14% of which would take effect immediately, the balance which would take place over the next 4 years, $5,000 bonus. 8 of the unions of the 12 agreed. That was the PEB recommendation. And we were willing to choke that one down and say, okay, because our economy in this fragile state created by President Joe Union cannot sustain a $2 billion a day economic hit. So for the good of the country, we'll choke that down. Well, then they say, well, we're going to have a cooling off period. We'll think about it. And they come back and say, no, we're going to strike on December 9th. December 9th. We're approaching winter time. How many people across the country are going to be relying on the commodities necessary to heat their homes? I don't know the millions of people.
See, Esau ain't worried about Jacob heating his home. Esau up there saying how many Edomites is going to be able to heat their home, Joe. What are you doing, Joe? Jacob is not ready for what the hell's about to happen. They walk around and work and walk around the streets like things are actually normal. The book of Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verse 9. 2 are better than 1 because they have a good reward for their labor. Okay, you got 2 people in the household, That's 2 times the income. Okay, that's 2 times the help. You got 2 people driving somewhere, that's less wear and tear on one person doing all the driving. You can go longer distance. Okay. Verse 10, for if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth. And right now, everybody's about to fall. Especially if Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not with you. But everybody's about to fall a little bit from wherever you at right now, prepare to fall a little bit. But if Yahweh Shem Yahushua is not with you, prepare to plummet to your grave. Now, and you're going to bump into a lot of stuff while you're falling. I guess it's like falling off a cliff where the edges stick out. It's not just like a straight drop. It's like the initial drop is a straight drop, but the rest of the cliff protrudes out a little bit. Salakia. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 10. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him or her that is alone when he or she falleth, for he have not another to help him up. And I had to put he or she in there because you women are about to catch hell. Again, if 2 lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? Okay? So you single women don't need no man. It's just you and the kids up in there. Y'all about to be cold as hell. Cold as hell. Makes me think of Isaiah 4:1. Oh, yeah, y'all going to be on y'all lesbian shit. That's extra judgment on y'all. So when you think you're going to shack up with the women and then play with your toys and hug up on each other and sleep with it, that's extra judgment. That means you got extra men that's about to come and rape y'all. It's about to get real serious. People about to really have themselves in the trick bag. And this is just going to be a house of defenseless women. Oh, my God. Pussy for the taking. Them niggas going to go crazy. Salakia for my language. Wow. So, the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, verse 11. Again, if 2 lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone? Or how can little children warm you up? And for the men too. Well, the women are going to come to you, bro. You ain't going to have no problem having a woman in that day. And if she's going to have diseases on her, though. And if one prevail against him, 2 shall withstand him. And a 3-fold cord is not quickly broken. Okay, so it's safety in numbers, but not when it's a bunch of wicked people around each other.
People that would be impacted negatively. This isn't about Christmas presents, although that's a big part of it because the economy.
Salakia, I had said it, so might as well pull it because that day is coming, and this might definitely usher it in. Isaiah 4:1, and in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Fellas, we about to look and see what they mean by reproach. I want to go to the Bible dictionary, but we just going to get it real quick. Reproach, a mild rebuke or criticism, disgrace or shame. So to criticize them for being a black woman and never being there for their man or blah, 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 this and that. Shame for being a single black mother, being alone and scared and dusty and smelly and funky and hair look crazy because they can't get their weave in. So they just going to be so ashamed and disgraced and just, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Okay, the book of Isaiah chapter 32 verse 2. And a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind. What's the wind? Destruction. And a covert from the tempest as rivers of water in a dry place. Okay? That's crazy because a man is going to be like a river of water in a desert. As the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. So it's going to be like shade. Like water in a desert. That's how it's going to feel until that man comes and get killed and then you get snatched off and taken by the next person. Only people that's going to make it is men, women, and children of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Everybody else is going to get ping-ponged around as far as like tortured to their death. Tortured as far as like judgment. Because life is torture sometimes. Okay? Life is torture sometimes.
Economy, we're not going to have as many Christmas presents this year anyway. But on top of it, we're going to freeze people out.
So Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is not giving people no Christmas presents this year. And he's going to freeze people out. And he's going to freeze people out. The book of Amos chapter 5 verse 21. I despise your feast days. What does it say in Jeremiah? Chapter 10. And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies. Your little Christmas dinner is going to be a little sad. Okay, it's going to be a little sad. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, and then today that would take place as the Christmas gifts in people's minds. They think they're giving Christmas gifts for some type of godly holiday or whatever the hell they think. I will not accept them. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai ain't with that. Neither will I regard the peace offerings of your fat beast. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows. And I was thinking earlier, I was like, dang, church songs and all of these Christmas songs ain't out there like it used to be. Like they don't got it. They don't got it like they used to have it sounding like, oh, the church music is got it now, or the Christmas Mariah Carey killing it. The book of Jeremiah chapter 10 verse 1. Hear ye the words which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. Okay, so obviously, like the scripture says, all Israel is not of Israel. Why? Because Israel means prince of power. Okay? And Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is not letting everybody be a prince of his power. Point blank, period. If you can't understand the scripture, you have no chance of even being a prince of the power. Then you have to run the race. I hope you don't break your ankle on the way. Verse 2, thus said the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are vain, for one cutteth a tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. This is your Christmas tree. This is why it's up in your house or every year, and grandma's house every year. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. You've never seen a single man with a Christmas tree up in his house. I haven't seen that yet. Never. Never. Never.
And these unions put a gun to the head of the American people and say, this is what we want, and we're not going to play ball. So the president's PEB,
it's like I just heard somebody put a gun to the head of the American people. Y'all ain't ready.
Presidential Emergency Board makes
I have citizenship, but I'm not one of them.
this recommendation. We go ahead and put legislation in place to support that. And at the 11th hour, here we are. And my friend from New Jersey, the chairman of Rail Subcommittee, said, yeah, we'll take that. We're going to add one sick day. Okay, I can live with one sick day. What I can't live with is the game they're playing legislatively when they make a promise, we're not going to put poison pills on this bill, and then they come back after the fact and throw this 119 kicker in place. Flat out lie. And another colossal failure on the part of the outgoing speaker, because she couldn't get the votes on her side of the aisle to vote for 100. The PEB recommendation. The PEB recommendation that the president asked for, President Joe Union, and yet here we are.
Here we are, about to fall. By the edge of the sword, because of the tongue. The book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 28, verse 18. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, and many more about to fall by the edge of the sword, as prophecy states. Okay, Daniel 12:1 is this. Yahweh Shai spoke of this in the book of Mark, Matthew, Luke. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue. We could look at the book of Matthew chapter 24.
having to deal with 119, the additional poison pill that the Speaker said would not be present in this legislation. And that's what's wrong with this institution, by the way. When people say they're going to do something and then 20 minutes later they reverse themselves. This came out last night, by the way, late in the evening, so no one would be aware of it. And now we're having to deal with it. Makes a mockery of this institution. And by the way, the authority that we have to deal with this doesn't mandate that we deal with it. It just says we have the authority. And by the way, that authority was given in 1926, almost 100 years ago.
The book of Proverbs chapter 4 verse 6. Salakia. The book of Proverbs chapter 4 verse 16. For they sleep not. They couldn't even go to bed. They had to do it late last night. They said, nah, I can't even sleep. I got to do it now. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief. They couldn't wait until the morning. He said they do. They go to work. They have lunch. They get off work. They have all these plans. They make plans. They make deals. Boom. He goes home. They go home. They can't go to sleep. They got to do mischief. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. They couldn't go to sleep unless they cause someone to fall. Then they could sleep better at night. And this is why I care not what you... This is why for the past 3 years, after trying to save everybody, well, not trying to save everybody, after trying to tell people things, warn people, I don't care no more. I don't care no more about people that I've tried to warn already. I don't care about them anymore as far as warning them. I'm done.
What a colossal failure on the part of the president and on the part of the speaker that we have to be here at all, wasting valuable time of this body that we could be doing so many more important things for our people in this country than have.
And that's what he said is exactly a perfect example of why I'm done trying to warn people that I've already warned. I could be doing more important things for Yasha Allah than trying to warn black people. Okay, I could be learning more, studying more, reading more, listening more, instead of trying to warn somebody that doesn't think that this is going to happen. You have to put your time into these scriptures. If I didn't put my time into these scriptures, I'd be a nutcase next year, probably right now.
To deal with this hostage situation at a time when our economy cannot sustain it. A $2 billion a day hit that is about ready to hit us right in the face. At a time when our folks, particularly in the Northeast, that rely on commodities like, for example, heating oil. And we can't move it. And by the way, maybe we could move it more efficiently if our pipelines were working like they should be. But again, the president saw to that. We don't have adequate resources in the trucking industry. We're at a driver shortage. We can't just rely on the trucking industry to fill that void. So again, President Joe Union Biden, Lunchbox Biden, Amtrak Biden, whatever moniker you want to go by, Mr. President, this is on you. This is your failure that you have punted into the House of Representatives to clean up your colossal mess. And with that, I yield back.
Do you drive for...
The book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 1. And he looked up and saw the rich men casting their gifts into the treasury. Okay, they were doing that because it was a law. It was doing that because it was a blessing. They was doing that because of their faith. They was doing that for show. Verse 2, and he saw also a certain poor widow casting in thither 2 mites. Now, I'm not exactly sure how much 2 mites are, but I know what a poor widow is, and I know what she's doing. Verse 3, and he said, of a truth I say unto you, that this poor widow hath cast in more than they all. For all these have of their abundance cast unto the offerings of God. But she of her penury, I don't know how to say that word correctly, Penury, hath cast in all the living that she had. And that's what we have to do to endure what's about to happen. I'm going to have to actually give my all to even have a chance to make it. Give my all into the faith in these scriptures and how I should act as a man. And that's exactly why, for a perfect example, fellas, don't be out here sleeping with every woman that want to give it to you. Okay, because once that woman is hooked on you or whatever, you cannot cut her off. You gotta keep popping her. I ain't say you gotta take care of her like a sucker. That's when the beefing start, and that's when you really show her your manhood. Like, nah, Slim, not the way you acting. You know what I'm saying? I'm king. Oh, you queen? Oh, you queen? Well, then the white man is your king then, because you go run to the white man for everything you need. If you queen and you want to be my queen, you need to come to me for everything. And if you can't do that, then the white man is your king, you black queen. And then they understand that shit, because that's the truth. So what we gonna do, king and queen? You know what I mean? So don't be saying here popping all these women, man. Like, you gotta check them a lot of different ways. And last but not least, the time we coming into with all these demons that's on people, you have to check them with these scriptures. If they not with these scriptures, get the hell away from them. Now, I made the mistake, because you know they not with it. So you just gonna pop one first and then not tell them about no scriptures. But eventually they're gonna hear about the scriptures. So this one person or whatever, just for an example, nah, I don't want to say all that. Just be careful, Akin. Just be careful. All right? Just be careful. Just be careful. Because when it's all said and done, man, the scripture says everybody's going to turn on the men of the Lord and on those that fear the Lord, the men, women, and children. So you really only really truly want to be around the hopeful elect, the hopeful men, women, and children. Now, everybody else, y'all in y'all marriages and all of that, I'm talking to new people. I'm not talking to any veterans or anybody that knows what the hell they doing. I'm talking to people like me that's new, that don't. Because when I first came in, year one was the COVID pandemic. I thought the world was going to end right then. I thought it was over. So, we knew, we here now. All right, it's war. It's wartime. Shalom. Spiritual war. Spiritual war, goddamn. Esau, you gonna clip hella shit. Shalom.